One thing I noted on your show, you were talking about something that everyone's just stopped talking about, and that's climate change and what's happening in our world. And, Oz, if you could bring up, I had a photo of an ice, a portion of the iceberg that just fell off that's the size of New York City. And, okay. So anyway, I had a picture of that, but we'll picture it in our heads.
Everybody picture a big iceberg.
Yeah, everyone picture a big iceberg and then like the size of New York and it falling off. So that just happened. So you were talking to a scientist about this. And what was your kind of feel on that? Or your read on that?
It's actually a really interesting story. NASA scientist Peter Kalmus, who also consulted with Don't Look Up, the movie, but he is a scientist. He's not like an activist that does a lot of, let's go lock down the pipeline. So this was new to him. He, along with many other scientists, climate scientists, decided recently, last week, to get arrested, chaining themselves or chaining the doors of banks that are funding and supporting this destruction of our planet. And, he said it took a lot of, it took really pushing him to the brink. Like he wants to be a quiet scientist in a room, and that's what he's been doing for 15 years. But he looks around and he sees we are blowing past the ability to maintain even a slightly livable planet. And we're just acting like it's nothing. And it truly is incredible. And the way people are ignoring it is just mind blowing. And so, Peter Kalmus, I interviewed him just yesterday, and he along with many other, I think it was 1,000 scientists globally, but down in town, Los Angeles, 4 of them got arrested, blocking a JP Morgan Chase, I believe. Even the scientists are now, people who've never been to a protest in their lives are now chaining themselves to banks, saying, we don't have another option now.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. It's stunning, and this is a very serious subject and it is very, sobering. And so I went ahead and got my own climate expert. His name is Tinfoil Timothy of Tybee Island. And We're going to go ahead and bring him on and see what he has to say. So Timothy.
I'm here. I don't know if you can see me. Probably not because of conspiracies. Yeah. A lot of times when you're trying to speak the truth, you're eradicated. I don't have to tell you that, Lee Camp. But my name is, they call me Tinfoil Timothy, but I don't call me Tinfoil Timothy. That started when I was in high school because of Ernie Stickles and his stupid friend Tad, because I spoke the truth, in high school against the conspiracy of the administration. And it's just been on and on from there. But I will tell you this, that I know that you're all on board with this climate change thing, but I have to tell you, you're under the ether because I work on Tybee Island, Georgia. I'm a code enforcement officer, so I'll say hello to my violators. Hello, violators. This is Timothy from Tybee Code Enforcement, and I'll be seeing you soon with my tactical pen and my ticket book. Okay, I make sure that tourists don't litter and that locals don't walk their dogs without leashes. That's a side note. Some call me a civil war denier. And I have come out against it in the past. It was mostly that I believe that possibly, and you can't prove me wrong, because people have tried, but that Mother and I have had long conversations about this, that perhaps it was just a domestic dispute that, brother against brother, that got blown out of proportion because of bad record keeping. And as soon as we start to really delve into the history, the forensic history, we may find that that's actually the case. But you can't prove me wrong. So regardless, we're talking about climate change. How could it be global warming if Mother got frostbite on her left pinky toe last time she was visiting family in northern Minnesota for a winter? Explain that. Huh? Really? They're ice fishing in Wisconsin? Come on.
I think, Timothy, what we're talking about is
for real?
World-renowned.
You're going to believe all these lies?
Well, world-renowned scientists have kind of proved with their data. What do you think, Lee? You want to fill in the gap here?
I mean, it's only 99.7% of scientists. So Timothy might have a point. There is 0.3% out there.
Yeah. Point three perhaps could be you're point three of the comedians in the world, and you're the most banned. So maybe that is the truth. You don't know. Here's what I think. We hear a lot about the problems, but we don't hear the solutions. Want to hear some? I got some. Here we go. You want solutions? Probably not, because you'd rather whine about global warming while you're running your heat on a winter day. Okay, we could dump iron dust into the ocean and create phytoplankton that would choke all of our waterways. We could do that, and that would help. We could eradicate the Sahara Desert and the outback and put in eucalyptus forests, powered by or irrigated by desalinized water, powered by clean nuclear power plants. Okay. Then there's the idea of 20 million rockets carrying 16 trillion mirrors to reflect the rays of the sun back toward itself, like burning ants when we were kids. You remember that, Lee? Don't tell me you didn't do it. Don't be all wafy beta male and say I didn't burn any ants. Yes, you did. You're a boy.
We just hand a magnifying glass to every human. I think that'll do it.
Yes. You see how the solutions are plenty, but nobody wants to talk about them. And the only downside of the nuclear power plant idea with the irrigating with desalinized water of the eucalyptus forest that we've created is locust plagues, bird flu outbreaks, and the elimination of thousands of desert species. And it would only cost us $1 trillion.
That's great.
I am here in mother's basement, my roommate's basement. My roommate happens to have 23 cats and be my mom. And so you may not be getting all of this because of the technical difficulties that I had when I was setting up. I was supposed to get help from my mother's handsome friend, Moishe, who's a rabbi and also will never be my dad because he's really good at this stuff. But I'll tell you this, that you can call me a conspiracy theorist or a tinfoil hatter or whatever you want. But when I speak the truth, I just speak the truth to truth. For example, am I a flat earther? No. And I'm not a round earther either. I believe it's another shape that we're not aware of yet. Bam! Mind blown yet? That's a wrap for me. Thank you.
Hey, thanks. Hey, everyone. That was Tinfoil Timothy.
I have to go because I can hear Mother and her friends are setting up for a bridge game. It's where I get my news. They have bridge games and they talk about the world. And this is how I learn. And you may not know because you don't hear the truth upstairs when they're hot involved in a bridge game. That's where the truth comes from. I got to go.
All right. Thank you, Timothy. All right, everyone.
Hey, man, a lot of great points, I feel like.
Yes, a lot of good points. All right. Yeah, a lot of good points about climate change and about what it must be like to live in a mother's basement. Yeah. So back to what we were talking about with all the things that are happening right now, kind of coalescing, and thanks for being present for everyone for a little bit of humor through all this, because as we doom scroll Twitter, it just seems to get worse every day, doesn't it?
Yeah, in many ways.
Yeah. So where are we going from here? So we have a lot on our plates to parse out, a lot to do. But seriously, with climate change, what can we do? Like, what can a citizen do moving forward? What are some of the things that you talked about yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, so Peter brought up the idea of each of us decreasing our emissions, which I'm totally down for. I haven't owned a car in like 15 years, but I think that saying that that's the answer gives the false impression that big oil can continue to do what it does, that big ag can continue to destroy the planet the way it does, and that we will handle this each on our own if we just don't accept the plastic bag at the store. And I think that is misguided to say that's the answer, or switch your light bulbs or whatever. Now, he correctly said, well, I'm not saying that's the answer. I'm saying it's one of many things we need to do. And I agree with that. It's one of many things we need to do. But the focus right now, I mean, we're past the point where everybody decreasing their driving a little bit is gonna have a big enough impact. And so that means we're into the time when we need a full-on climate revolution, shifting the economy, the likes of which we haven't seen since World War II. But, you know, World War II, when it was crucial, we were like, hey, we're changing everything. Our whole society is going to shift. The industrial base is going to shift. How you live your life is going to shift. You know, everything changed. The men are going to war. The women went into the factories. It was a full shift. And we decided it was important because Nazis. Well, how about it's important because we will not have a livable planet very soon. And for those who think climate change or climate chaos or climate catastrophe is something in the future, no, it's now. There are whole cities going up in flames. What was it? Paradise, California, that completely burned to the ground, killing however many people. There are cities.
Yeah, I've been evacuated twice for fires. You know, it's
have you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, you live in these areas out west, because I live out west, you're back east. It's now every summer, pretty much 3 to 4 months of the summer, we're getting ready for fire season now, or more, you know, even longer. And
and even if you're not hit by the fire, breathing becomes difficult.
Oh yeah, you have to it's smoke. It's smoke so bad it looks like you have cloudy skies and whatnot. And yeah, so you're absolutely right. I mean, it's been. And, you know, look at Australia, look at how, you know, how they lost, how many species of animals were affected by the last wildfires.
I know. And I remember in Australia, they did these glowing news reports about how the, Australian government or whichever city was there was in helicopters dumping carrots down to the surviving wombats and things. And I'm like, okay, when we're at the point that we're dumping carrots out of helicopter to try and save the few wombats that still exist, you've already lost. All right. Like, you need more than a bag of carrots in a helicopter.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's amazing. Like, the way it's kind of sped up. And I think you mentioned the film, Don't Look Up. And I feel like we are living in David Sirota's kind of imagined,
yes, although
drama, if you will.
Although I want some credit because I had Adam McKay. He apparently was a Redacted Tonight fan, and I had him on the interview show a few years ago, like 4 years ago, and we were talking about corporate corruption of government, how our government is corrupt, the lobbyists, et cetera. And I said, well, you got to make a movie about how our government is bought off by these lobbyists, by corporations. All you got to do is get Jennifer Lawrence attached, and then it'll be huge. And here's the movie where a lot of it is about government corruption and big tech buying out our government. And Jennifer Lawrence starred in it. So I think I deserve some royalties.
You deserve producer credit at least, if not consultant. Yes. Yeah. You should have been at the Academy Awards. You know, you should have been on stage with Chris Rock. I mean, come on,
slapping people up.
Yeah. But Peter had a good Peter Kalmus had a good point about Don't Look Up, and I said, does it create change, or is it like, it was a hit movie, but it's, already moving past its prime and people move on with their lives. And he said, well, I think the real win is that it is now like in the zeitgeist. It's a common term. People say, oh my God, this is so Don't Look Up. It's now becoming common for people to reference a whole society ignoring head in the sand. We've got our head in the sands, and the sands are getting a lot hotter, and we're keeping our heads there. And so it really changes the way people think, the way people talk. And I think that is important. I felt the same about Occupy Wall Street.